Hello again. Um, this is your neighborhood friendly. Maybe I won't say that word. Never mind. I'm not gonna go into that. But anyways, um, I was sitting around. Actually, it kind of kept me up a lot last night, and then this morning I was sitting around thinking about this whole thing, right? Everything we do, and why we do it, and you know why, things like why we go to work, and we decide to pay taxes and insurance, and some of us go off to war, and some of us go off to prison, and you know thinking about our role in everything that we know is like our society, which is really, you know, you got to understand it's really different for everybody. Even though there's a genuine or a genuine, excuse me, sorry, a general, I don't want to say script's kind of funny for me because the old people always told you to act in public, right? So scripts, I like to use scripts, but I know people are sensitive, so I'll use the word. How about our role? Our role in all this. We all have one. There is a general standard for things, right? You pay taxes. You gotta live a certain standard, and that's why we have rules. Rules are great. Don't get me wrong. I now appreciate, and even then, I'm not one of these people that think we shouldn't have rules and everything. We should all agree to get along, and there has to be lines. But I was just wondering. For me, see, I play like no harm, no foul. You know what I mean? Like to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense for seatbelts and really anything. Anything if you ain't hurt anyone, and and you haven't stolen or damaged anyone, you know, it's okay, and everything's relative to that. It's not like for instance, it's illegal to do a lot of things that aren't wrong. Okay, it's not wrong what a person does and does with himself and consenting people. You know what I mean? It's not wrong to wanna anything. You think it's like if we're just going on laws or what some call laws and like agreed upon rules, then there's been some crazy fucking rules out there. So we can't just say that rules are the only thing that makes things right and wrong, and which makes you a good person. Let's use person from now on. Let's use person instead of role and actor. Okay. I'm really thirsty. Sorry, my mouth's kind of sticky. So if our person needs to be or wants to be helpful and good in society, they have to bring a certain amount of value to society. So my personal and spiritual beliefs are everyone has value in a role they play and a potential that they could reach that they probably never even dreamed of. And I think that's everyone. I don't think anyone's excluded. How we get there may seem unfair. Like I would have loved to have Michael Jordan's work ethic and basketball skills. You know what I mean? I would have loved to, be a smart quarterback like Peyton Manning. But that wasn't my role. But that doesn't mean my potential couldn't help or reach whatever level or metric you're measuring by. It just means I got to be creative. I can't do it the way everybody else does it, because then I would just be competing with a bunch of people doing the same thing all the time, right? Is that not kind of like, it's like a robotic thing almost? So we have our standards that we go by, and then we have this standard that it seems everybody thinks and everybody kind of agrees upon, but it's really like a secret in a way. It's like when kids believe in Santa Claus, there's a point when you don't believe in Santa Claus no more, but you're still going along with it. Adults do this. Come, Freya. It's kind of like when you and your buddies are all telling a story from the past, or even just sitting around talking, and everybody knows everybody's bullshitting each other, but nobody really says anything, right? So, hold on, let me get some water. All right. So, if everyone has these standards, and then we all have these secret standards and judgments, like for instance, everybody knows it's okay to, everyone knows it's okay to be African American, or and wear what you want, right? But did everybody really believe that? No. But they would never say that in the public because they're trying to be good people, okay? Now, if we're going to search and try to find what makes a good person, we need to find out what a person is, I think. I've been in this really cool zone of learning these past few years, and I've learned all kinds of stuff. But the past year and a half, probably 2 years specifically, it's basically been stuff, we've got some jurisprudence books. I like to read old books a lot too, because they have a better way of saying things, you know what I'm saying? Because we're getting smarter sometimes, and sometimes we're getting dumber. And sometimes we think we're getting smarter, and sometimes we're actually getting dumber. And I'm saying this with all the love in the world, because I am with everyone on this boat. So I gotta look up the word person. And when I look up the word person, I done it. I'm not gonna front like I didn't look it up. This is the whole point of making the video. This is the one that got me. It's about the 12th definition, but this is an old dictionary. In a new dictionary, my new dictionary, I couldn't even find this definition, but it says, law, an individual, human being, natural persons. Then it says, or a body or corporate artificial person having rights and duties before the law. And, you know, if you come from where I come from, you've never been told that words like a person could be a corporation. Okay? I just thought that was neat. So that might be relevant to this discussion, and it might not be, but it should get you thinking. Anyways, we all have our roles. And in this big economic machine that's turning, I hate using other people's, I'd like to describe it in different words instead of saying the same words, because I think it helps give laymen like me understanding. But anyways, this big old thing that we're all going around agreeing to do. They tell you that you have a choice by electing people, and that's your say in it. It is not fair, life. It is not equal, and nor should it be. I think we would really regret ever letting anyone equal things out for us. That is not going to end well. I don't believe it is possible to grind your way out of everything. I don't believe it is. I don't believe that you can have good intentions and be the best person in the world and get out of everything in this system, this design system. You can't, because in this system, everything is limited. In this system, we got to worry about running out of gas, and then we got to worry about running out of water, and then we got to worry about running out of air, and then we got to worry about running out of electricity and all this shit. As if all this stuff that we've created and all the things that God created isn't always been here and always going to be here. This society we're living in is about competition and stepping on the next person's fucking throat. And that's fine. I love competition. Tighten up, you know what I'm saying? I like sports. But there's a place for it, and there's a place that it doesn't belong, okay? In the public, all's fair. But there's another side to things, and I think that if you all will feel deep down, you're gonna see that there is a side to everything. It has to be. It's duality. It's just nature, okay? The only thing that is a real law is nature. It's nature's laws. Everything else is mimicking nature's laws. Okay, so you have a side that's the public. And then there's another side that's the private. I learned a lot of this stuff off YouTube, believe it or not. But as the good ones will tell you, you got to read for yourself to understand it. So I started collecting books. And it's, first off, not at all what I was taught things are. And I'd bet that really not many people understand it, including the people in the legal system, because there is no fucking way you can convince me that there's that many fucking shithead lawyers that it's just the grossest thing in the world when you learn it. It's the grossest thing in the world, and I can't shut up about it. It's not like this helps me. It blows my mind that everybody will walk around and act like they're fucking moral and they're doing good because they're fucking driving a nice car and shit, but haven't stood for anything in their whole life. They're just playing a role that was already laid out for them. And I'm telling you guys, like, this causes a lot of problems. And I've heard people say it, but goddamn, man, like, my kids ain't gonna they're not gonna live like I did, knowing what I know. It doesn't help me a lot it helps me tremendously, but it's just not fast. It takes time. And the problem, I can't do it, man, no more. I can't just not seek and find. I mean, most people believe in religion, right? Your God tells you to go out there and find your own understanding, and yet people said that I don't live in this world to me, or not to me, worse, to my wife. It's mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing to me. I cannot understand it. I would love for somebody to fucking explain this to me. Because everybody is willing to help when the scales are tipped a certain way. Like, for instance, if I dressed right and went to work when everybody else did, doesn't matter the work. Doesn't matter the work. If I listened like everybody else, I would get along in society better. It's proved because I done it. And it didn't make sense to me because it wasn't always the best way. It doesn't make sense to me that anybody can throw stones about anything. Who are you out there's done something lately that was just because you wanted to do it and it was a good thing to do, like, not for notoriety, not for people to know you, or like, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. I say as long as it fucking helps, it don't matter. But I've had people in my life lately keep score, and it's like, are you serious? I had a man keep score on me on some work. I worked 6 hours pulling out electrical outlets and things that I didn't charge him, but I didn't like go tell him. I wasn't like coming to him and saying, man, I done all this, but I don't want you to pay me. No, not at all. Not even, well, maybe a little bit when he kind of upset me a little bit, accusing me of being careless with hours or something. But irregardless, if I wrote down the things that brought value to my life, they would be different than the things that bring value to your lives. And everybody is going to be relative to that. When people tell you your whole life that the things that bring value to your life is the same thing as everybody else's, well, then we're constantly comparing ourselves and our things and our acts and everything. We're constantly comparing ourselves, as I'm doing now, okay? But my comparison now isn't to get anybody to agree with me. I'm asking for understanding. I'm asking for understanding. And the thing is I relate. Like, I feel the same way. I have the same voice that comes up in my head when it wants to make an excuse or all these things. I have the same things, man. Like, I ain't mad about the things that we do. I'm not talking about our flaws. We're all flawed. That's my whole goddamn point. I know some things I may have wrong about things. And I expect a certain amount of not really mistruths, just not complete understandings, I think. But I've always felt it. I've always felt a voice that told me something's right or wrong, okay? And for the most part, it seems society agrees with that. But there are some things that in my soul are wrong. And if it's a little different, I'm not allowed to say it. Or if I am allowed to say it, I am allowed to say it. But the consequence is always financial, because that's the system in which everything's compared. You can't grind your way out of everything, guys. You can't, so stop trying. There's a creative side to things. Like, I want you to find somebody that you admire, okay? somebody that you just think is the shit. I don't care if there's somebody you've met or somebody on TV. And I want you to really hear what they're saying. Really hear it. Now, of course, if you're thrifty with money and you save money, you're probably going to be better off or better at playing the game. But are you happy? Are you happy? Do your kids love you? There's a lot of things besides property and things like that. And in fact, if you hang with me long enough, I'll prove to you that you don't own that. I'll prove to you that if you hang on long enough, it's going to get crazy. Because I've tried to reach out to friends and family members and people I know that know me, that would say that, he has an imagination, is probably what they'd say, nicely or whatever. And then some people would say, we're not aligned with anything. But I don't think that's true. I think that if we sat down and got honest one-on-one, most people, without taking offense, without getting upset and having these emotional responses that are trained into us, I think most people would agree. And I challenge anybody that wants to talk about it. I'm not at all afraid of being wrong. I'm not at all afraid of any of the criticisms, because I do a lot of things that people don't like. It's fine. I want the conversation. I don't want the blind allegiances no more. I'm tired of hearing these absolutes. I'm tired of hearing, you gotta have your driver's license. Why? Did anybody ever ask? I was reading old laws, and there's actually a lot of stuff that's against that kind of thing in America. That's kind of why they left there. Except they called it titles of nobility. So, just saying. The truth is, man, I love everybody. I enjoy life. My problems are definitely authoritative. But guys, just stick around. You'll see why. I promise you, none of you, after you hear my story and you hear my reasoning, there's not one that's going to disagree. You won't be able to stick around because you're going to be too triggered to listen. And if you're so triggered to listen, are you even making any choices? Are you so triggered to listen 20 minutes to someone that you're afraid of what? You're afraid of what? You think your false sense of security is going to go? Do you really feel like you're secure? I don't think nobody feels secure. I don't see how you could in this world. So what is it you're afraid of doing? The point of this, nobody is helpless. Nobody is stuck like this, except for people, I guess, and even people that are really imprisoned. They're not. It's here. This is not easy, but it's purposeful. Do you understand? These words don't always, they just kind of come out, and they don't make sense to me when I'm saying them a lot of times. They just come out. They come from the ether or whatever. I don't know. God or what, nature or my lineage. Freya, come. I'm going to quit rambling. Peace.